How's it going, everyone? It's Harvey from Weather Sponge about 1000, and in this video we're going to focus on the current extreme tornado outbreak that's going on in the northern Midwest for today. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the current radar for the northern Midwest at this time, and we do have some severe thunderstorms embedded within some of these squall lines throughout the northern Midwest, such as just right around the eastern portion of South Dakota. We do see a pretty long line of supercell thunderstorms, and some of these have tornado warnings embedded in them. So if you're around the eastern portion of South Dakota, you need to pay very close attention to this, as well as the western portion of Minnesota, where the thunderstorms are right at your doorstep, and some of these are capable of producing tornadoes, so you need to pay very close attention to this. I'm extremely concerned for this area in the northern Midwest because it seems like there's just a lot of lift and wind shear in the atmosphere that's just asking for multiple tornadoes to spawn within some of these supercell thunderstorms. And even for our southward, we do have some thunderstorms developing, not to the extent as further northward where there's a little bit more instability, but we still do have some thunderstorms developing throughout Nebraska and Kansas, I meant to say. And so you need to pay very close attention further southward as well. But I think the worst of severe weather will be right around this area. Pretty much just east of the Missouri River Valley. This is where I'm expecting the worst of severe weather, because the instability will be the highest right around that area, and we do see some severe thunderstorms in further northward as well. So this is definitely something to keep in mind for the northern Midwest for today. And if we were to take a look at the warnings issued, let's zoom in further into the northern Midwest, right, the north central portion of the United States. And like I said, we do have tornado warnings issued embedded in some of these supercell thunderstorms, and we do have severe thunderstorm warnings issued now, including the eastern portion of Minnesota, where as of right now it's around like 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Time at the recording of this video. So probably by the time this video gets uploaded, the severe thunderstorm should be impacting you guys further westward into Minnesota, so you need to pay very close attention to that. And you see that severe tornado watches issued over a large area, extending from North Dakota, South Dakota, the western portion of Minnesota. So the probability of a major tornado threat is high for this area, so make sure to keep that in mind. And we do have also a tornado warning issued right around Kansas, so you need to take cover in that area as well. So I'm going to show you why there is a major severe weather threat right now going on in the northern Midwest. Look at the amount of instability we're seeing. It's just a crazy amount of just how much temperature changes within a small distance, because you see in this area we're seeing temperatures in the 80s, and we're even seeing 90-degree temperatures here throughout the northern portion of Iowa and southern portion of Minnesota. But if you only go less than, I'd say, 30 miles to the west, temperatures drop down to the 50s. That's a huge difference in temperature. We're talking about a 30 to 40 degree difference in temperature within such a small distance. So we're seeing just a lot of lift in the atmosphere, because that cold, very dense air is going to want to filter into where the air is lightly dense, and that's creating an area where the pressure is extremely low for extreme thunderstorms to develop throughout the northern Midwest for today. So it's definitely enhancing the tornado risk for that area. Now, take a look at what the computer models are saying. So this is what the GFS model forecasted the wind shear to look like between the upper levels and the mid levels of the atmosphere. We do see a small difference in wind direction. Let me go to another area, because the wind shear there looked a little bit too straightened out, and we do see the winds are primarily coming from same direction, but we do see a slight difference in wind direction with height. And since there's so much lift in the atmosphere, that's going to enhance how much the wind speed changes with height, and that's going to encourage a tornado threat here associated with a lot of these thunderstorms. And if I were to continue to move forward, these thunderstorms will move further eastward, and eventually the air will begin to stabilize like you see here. We do see thunderstorms, the thunderstorm activity subside. Of course, as nighttime comes, the air becomes cooler and the air begins to stabilize. So as a result, the severe weather risk does weaken as we head further and further into the night. But still, western Minnesota and possibly as far east as Minneapolis should experience severe weather out of these thunderstorms. And if we were to take a look at the convective available potential energy levels for today, look at this. We're seeing levels right around 5,000 joules per kilogram, which is just a lot of lift in the atmosphere. That's suddenly going to create an extreme severe weather threat. And if I were to move even more forward than that, we could see readings like you see right there. Right there, you see readings over 5,000, which is just a lot of lift in the atmosphere, which will definitely create which is definitely creating the extreme severe weather that we're seeing right now. And in terms of the future, will this severe weather threat last further for days to come and move further eastward? Well, it doesn't seem like that's necessarily going to be the case, or we won't see severe weather at this magnitude after today, most likely, which is certainly good news. But the low pressure system should move a little bit further northward, which will subside the northwesterly winds that we saw all day today, which again will reduce the instability throughout the Midwest, which as a result will reduce the risk of severe weather. But we still could see severe thunderstorms spawn right around Missouri and Illinois, but I'd say the tornado threat is going to be very low. I think the bigger threat associated with those thunderstorms will be more damaging winds and possibly small hail, but it won't be anywhere near the magnitude of as the severe weather we're going to experience for today, which is certainly good news that this should end by the end of today for the northern Midwest, as well for most of the Midwest when it comes to at least the worst of the severe weather. So that's something some good news. But for today, you need to prepare for just extreme severe weather throughout the northern Midwest. And if I were to continue to move forward into the more long-term future, we don't necessarily have we aren't necessarily detecting any more extreme severe weather threats. We could maybe see a trough move through possibly by next week, where we do see some thunderstorms developing, but as of right now, it doesn't seem like there's any indication that there's going to be another severe weather threat, at least in the short-term future after this one, which is certainly good news. But we need to wait and see, because again, the forecast changes rapidly, especially when the forecast is in the very long-term future. So we need to just wait and see. Now, I'm taking a look at the Futurecast radar to see when you guys in the northern Midwest should expect the impact. So this is 9 p.m. Eastern time for Minnesota. You see that the thunderstorm should pretty much approach western Minnesota by around 8 p.m. Central Time. So within the next 2 hours, the thunderstorm should approach you guys. So make sure to keep that in mind. And if I were to continue to move even forward, the thunderstorm should reach Omaha right around the 9 to 10 p.m. time frame tonight. They might lose a little bit of its severity as it moves eastward, again as the air stabilizes once you get into the nighttime. But you still need to watch out for the possibility of a severe thunderstorm and possibly tornadoes, especially just north of Omaha, where the worst of the wind shear will be. So make sure to pay close attention to that. And in terms of threats for today, the Storm Prediction Center increased their risk of severe weather for today, because before it was just an enhanced risk. Now it's a moderate risk, which is more equivalent to a major risk of severe weather. And the tornado threat is certainly exists in that area, but the most likely threat associated with these thunderstorms will be damaging winds, as well as large hail in some portions of South Dakota and North Dakota. So make sure to pay close attention to that, as this severe weather threat is going to be very extreme for a lot of you guys in the northern Midwest. And in terms of my forecast, this is where I'm expecting the worst of the severe weather. This is where the tornado risk will be the highest, the damaging wind risk will be the highest, as well as the large hail. threat, that's where it should be the highest. So make sure to stay prepared in case of a severe thunderstorm or in case of a tornado warning, because that's certainly possible in this area with the amount of lift and instability we're seeing in the northern Midwest. And you see that this moderate risk extends further eastward as well. So in Minneapolis and Wisconsin, you're not out of the woods when it comes to severe weather yet, as I still do believe that there's a moderate risk of severe weather. This extends to Omaha as well, where I still think there's you guys are under a major severe weather risk for today, and Des Moines is also involved with a moderate severe weather risk. So those cities, you still need to pay close attention, because a severe weather threat is certainly possible for you guys as well, even though it might not necessarily be as severe as what you're going to see right around the Missouri River Valley. So make sure to pay close attention to that throughout the Midwest. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure, if you like this video, make sure to stay safe in the northern Midwest. Take cover when there's a tornado warning. And I hope you guys all have a great day.